Thanks for staying with us, joining us on the show to help us make some sense of the operational changes made to the foreign exchange market and how the stock market rose to record 15 years all-time high yesterday, and what it means to the common man. Is our regular guest and a partner of the PricewaterhouseCoopers PwC, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'll be with you in a moment. I have to also welcome Tokpe Makodige in the building. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
I know you're a bit lost in transit, but so good to have you back.
We're happy to be here.
Fantastic. Good.
Two fingers in the air.
All right. So, Mr. Taiwo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, in the last 48 hours, Nigerians have been bombarded back to back with different policy change here and there. Dollar exchange rates, we're not even sure what's going on. We're getting a lot of text, but many of us lack understanding. We need some clarity on what it means. So according to the president, they're going to allow market forces determine the rates, and there are going to be quite a few changes going on concerning that. Could you give us an understanding of what this means to the average Nigerian out there?
Yes, thank you very much. Very important question you have asked, because the economy is not just for economists and experts, it's for all Nigerians. So it's important that we understand what government has done and is doing and what that implication will be for us. So on one hand, the regime we had before yesterday for foreign exchange was a regime where government that controls most of the foreign exchange that we have in the system decides that in the official market, the amount at which you can exchange naira to dollar is the most important foreign currency, was around 460, right? So 460 looks very good, except that you go to that market and you can't get it at 460. And sometimes people who get the 460 are not people who are doing anything productive, just because they are well connected to the central bank governor or the presidency, and they get this amount and then they round trip and sell it at the black market, and they make huge amounts of money at the expense of everyone. Now, the implication of that was that if you had $1 million outside Nigeria and you want to bring it to Nigeria for any reason, including investment, government says you must give it to them at 460. But you know that in the market, this thing is worth 750. So what you do is not to bring it in at all. That was why our foreign direct investments practically dried up almost completely. So the market that is servicing almost everyone, including people importing diesel, manufacturers, the market that is serving almost everyone has been a parallel market, which is 750. So what government has now done is to say, you know what? We're going to allow market forces, supply and demand of dollars, to determine the rate, so that way, anybody who has dollars can bring it. When they want to take it out, they can buy from the market, whatever the market is. This is what the international market is used to. This is how the economy is supposed to run. So by floating the naira exchange rate to follow demand and supply forces, we have removed a significant distortion to the Nigerian economy. And I have to tell you, I am excited, even though I know that this will come with some pain, especially in the short term.
I wanted to ask, what if, so are you saying that the CBN or the banks will not have a flat rate anymore?
Yes, that is correct. So there's no more flat rate. We now have a willing seller and a willing buyer relationship. I have dollars to sell. How much are you willing to pay? So there's no one that is going to be telling you how much you must sell it anymore. If you have sufficient liquidity of dollar, naira would appreciate. If you don't have enough liquidity of dollar, naira will depreciate. But then the central bank will still intervene, but not by fixing the amount, is by playing in the supply and demand market. For example, if the CBN feels like the naira exchange rate is too volatile, that is going up and down too frequently and very wide, they can supply dollar to the market to stabilize it. And if they think naira is appreciating too much, they can buy dollar from that market so that naira does not appreciate too much. I know many people will be wondering, why are you saying naira can appreciate too much? Actually, that can be a problem if your currency appreciates too much. So it just needs to be stable at a point where it is predictable for investment purposes.
Yeah, so you talked about pain that Nigerians will face for a little while. So could you explain to us, like in layman's terms or in everyday terms, what would that mean for us in prices of food, in businesses, in our monies in the bank, those of us who have invested in dollars, those of us who haven't? In those ways, how would it affect us? How would it be painful for us in the short term?
Yes, so the short-term pains, actually they are few. There are not a lot of them, but it's still important to talk about them. The first one is potentially the price of petrol could go up slightly because the exchange rate that the NNPC was using to import petrol was the official exchange rate. Yeah. So if you then go to around 600, I think the rate might stabilize around 600 or thereabouts. You may see a slight increase in the price of PMS that may inch closer to the price of diesel because diesel is already being imported at the parallel market rate. That is the area where you're likely to have the most impact. But I think the good thing that is working for us now is that the price of crude oil in the international market is coming down because of recession fear in developed markets. And that means that can counterbalance any increase, and we may not see anything substantial in that area. Right. Now, if anybody has bought dollars as a way of keeping it to make some money, that's a risk they are taking. I will not advise them to keep the dollar. I will not advise them to sell it, but they just need to be aware that when you have a floating exchange rate system, the rates can go up and down at any time, depending on the dynamics of the economy. If you have savings in naira or you have investment in the capital market, this is a good time for you. You can see the international community is excited about Nigeria. That's why the capital market has gained significantly. It's now at about 15-year high. Yeah. Nigeria Euro bond in the international market has been rallying because people know that what we are doing now is going to make the economy buoyant, vibrant, and thrive very soon in the medium to long term.
Right. Okay, I want to understand how this will make the economy buoyant and, thrive in the long term, because we know that we really do not have liquidity of dollars like we expect. And the reason the parallel market had to step in to bridge the gap was the fact that the CBN did not have enough to give to importers, people who really needed the dollar. They didn't have enough. Now, what will be the assurance that we will begin to make more dollars so that with this floating financial system, we will not be suffering for a very long time?
Yes, very good question. So I think the way to start the answer to your question is by having the parallel market and having the official exchange rate, and the difference sometimes is up to 300 naira. There's nobody who is printing dollar for the parallel market, right? So that system in itself does not in any way increase our liquidity supply. It is what we have is what we have. Just that we have used our unreasonable policy to push a lot of that into the parallel market, and we're starving the official market of liquidity. Right. So now, while that has not increased supply, it has reduced supply actually, because you see a foreign direct investment for the whole of last year was under $500 million for the whole country for a whole year, because those people that are supposed to bring money in stop bringing in their money because nobody wants to bring in their money and lose almost half of the value overnight, because by law you are supposed to give those money to the CBN and collect capital, certificate of capital importation, all this bureaucracy. So what we are doing now is we're going to increase supply because we have now harmonized the rate. Foreign portfolio investors will come to the capital market with billions of dollars. Foreign direct investment will start flowing in. And then all of that will increase liquidity in the market. If we are also lucky, and we increase our production of crude oil, these are better days ahead for Nigeria.
We still have our guest, Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, with us. Tokwe, let me come to you now. Question?
So, you know, this is my topic. I love the economy, and I am extremely happy about the policies we're seeing. I'm not happy about the impact on the average Nigerian's pockets, you know, but a lot of the policies seem to be going in the right direction. What I want to find out from you, though, is that while there is corruption, you know, there are two major policies that we are celebrating right now. The deregulation of petrol, removing subsidy, and floating the naira. But there were people that were getting advantage from this official policy, even though there's corruption there. How do we ensure that the manufacturers, those manufacturers that were accessing official rates to bring in vital raw materials that they use in production, how would the government cushion the impact of this sudden float on their business? Projections have been done for the year. Expectations have been made that we will be able to bring in at this rate, and suddenly one policy changes all that. What do you think the government can do, and is there any policy on ground to support those businesses?
Yeah, you know, first and foremost, I'll just, you know, slightly disagree with your analysis. I know this is a general view, but I relate with manufacturers every time. Manufacturers are not getting the official rate. For some of them that are lucky, you get around 10%. At the official rate, 90% or more, they buy from the parallel market rate. You know, when you were reading the news headline, there was one headline that says that Naira depreciates, you know, to 600 and something. I say, well, actually, it depends on where you're looking at it from.
Yes,
if most people in the economy, including manufacturers, were already dealing with 750, then 650 or 660 something is actually an appreciator in the value of the Naira. In fact, don't be surprised if you see inflation coming down, because what that means is goods and services that have been priced in at 750 will now be at 600 and something, and that will be good for the economy. So I don't think that manufacturers, you won't see any single one of them complain, because this policy now is in their favor. What we had before wasn't in their favor. A few people who were very well connected were getting it, others were not getting it, which in itself means that they can't even play on a level playing field in the same market. And that's why you have some people shutting down their factory and their plants. But what we now have is, once investments start coming in, you see factories being built, industries being developed, employment will come, people will find their meaningful living, and then we can have a level playing field and go back to the days of double-digit economic growth that's inclusive.
So with this new policy now, do you think it will now be easy for Nigerians to access their monies in the bank? People who had saved in dollars. Yes, people who saved in dollars were not able to access their dollar. Anytime you go to the bank, they don't have the USD currency. They are giving you $1 as against having $100 bills. So do you think this will open up so that customers can, you know, have access to their dollars for whatever they want to do with it?
It's yes and no. So this policy in and of itself will not make dollar available just if you go to the bank now. It doesn't mean that dollar will now just suddenly be available.
Wow.
So which means in the next few days, couple of weeks, you might still have challenges where you go to the bank and they say, sorry, you didn't tell us before. Let's go and find $2,000 to give you. But as soon as the liquidity start coming in, then that problem will disappear. There have been times in Nigeria before. In fact, I even remember sometimes during, I think it was Jonathan's time, that somebody wanted to pay me dollars, and I said, I don't want to go and bring Naira, because I knew I would collect the dollars, and when I'm selling it, I'll lose like 1 Naira per dollar. You know, we can go back to that time when there is enough liquidity to meet all legitimate demand in Nigeria. Let only criminals and corrupt politicians go to the parallel market and turn it into a black market, not a market for legitimate anything, to be honest. I think that's the way Nigeria needs to go. This is the beginning of that process,
I just, from a layman's point of view, I want to understand how this is going to stop the black market from thriving. How are they, because you can't control them, they continue to, so what if dollar settles at maybe 600 Naira or 700 Naira, and then somebody just now says, I'm going to be selling my own at 1,000 because there's no dollar in the market, what I have. How are you going to curb that? How are they going to curb that?
Excellent question. So there are two factors that can make parallel markets to widen and move away further from the official rate, no matter that, whatever that is. In other words, official rate can be 600 and parallel market can go to 1,000. There are two factors. Number one, currently, maybe currently is yesterday, I don't know whether they made that decision. There were about 43 items that are not, they are not illegal. It's not like government banned them. But CBN says for these items, you cannot access the official market. So what you did was you transferred legitimate demand,
to the
demand to the parallel market, right? And you make it official, almost you formalize it so it becomes like a decent market where people can go. If you don't remove that restriction, then parallel market will continue to move away from the official market. What you need to do is to unban those items. Anything that you want to import, go to the official market. If government wants to discourage an import, increase import duty on it like toothpick and allow you buy FX, but when you are bringing it in, allow you to pay 200% import duty. That's what should be done. The second factor that makes the parallel market to thrive is unnecessary documentation and administrative bureaucracy. So if you need to buy $2,000 as a small business, and they say, go and bring the birth certificate of your mom and dad, the CEO of work. So those things will push you away from the official market and you go to the parallel market. Once government can address those two issues, we will have no problem at all with the parallel market.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think we have a bit more clarity on this. I mean, a lot of Nigerians have been so confused. They're just hearing all these terms and they're wondering, how does it affect us? But I think with this, we have a better understanding of this. But we always also worry about the Nigerian factor. You know how we understand that, yes, there's that part of it where somehow corruption always finds a way to creep in. And we hope that this policy somehow can be able to block those loopholes within all this policy and make it work. But I was going to ask concerning timelines. You know, as you said, in the next few months, we'll begin to see, hopefully, foreign investment coming in and make more dollar, more liquid dollar in the market. Well, how do you, when do you think Nigerians can really begin to see real changes and we see that Naira has really appreciated though?
So I think if government can just complement this with other policies, because this is not going to, it's not Uhuru on its own, and it's not a silver bullet, even though it's important. So you need policies like, you need to review all these, border closure policy. You don't have enough rice, and you say rice is banned, and then they smuggle it in, government does not get money, and then it's expensive and we still buy it in the market. You need to review all those policies. We also have provisions in the law today that ask people to pay taxes in dollars on taxes, and some levies are collected by government agencies in dollars. You need to stop all of that. If you're able to complement this with other policies, what is going to happen is within the next 2 to 3 weeks, you begin to see inflow of foreign currency. And then all these advantages that we are talking about, you begin to see, this is not something that waits till next year. This is almost immediate. So the pain, if any, will be short-lived and the benefit will be long-lasting.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. Let me let you go at this point. Thank you very much, sir. It's always a pleasure having you on the show to give us clarity when there are naughty government policies which you don't understand. Thank you very much. We're going to go on a break now. When we come back, move on to other topics. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.